Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. I told you there'd be a second video today, and as promised, this is the video about the Q1 earnings report for Activision Blizzard. I tweeted out last night, I'd do it today. I wanted to spend some time to go through the informations, pick out what I wanted to talk about, because this channel is more often than not World of Warcraft Blizzard channel, and so that's really going to be the main focus of the Q1 report, as opposed to like King or Activision stuff, although Activision will get dragged in occasionally. But if you missed the first video earlier, it's a bit of a fun video about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Go check it out, give you a bit of a giggle. Yes, let's just get straight into this, because there's a lot to get into, and I don't want to get this video too long-winded. But yeah, yesterday was the Q1 report. And what was very interesting is how Bobby, the shit, Kotick, decided to open up this report, because he says, we started the year with strong operating discipline. That's great corp speak, isn't it? Strong operating discipline. What does that sound like to you? I mean, to me, if somebody said that to me, it sounds like they battened down the hatches. They increased efficiency. They made sure that everybody was working to their utmost potential, and targets were being hit much more regularly, much stronger. That's kind of like what it sounds like to me. Do you know what it actually means? It means we sacked 800 people. That's what it actually means. That's how a corporation says we sacked 800 people. Because, of course, a Q1, an earnings report is about money, and people don't matter. Because people don't matter in any of these companies. Bobby Kotick doesn't give a shit about a single person that works for him. He just wants to make money and get paid himself. So that's a very interesting way to start this off. It actually saddens me. I mean, it legitimately saddens me that this is business. This is business. The human cost, but I don't know. I could go into it. I could rant and rave about this for ages. But I'm going to jump from time to time between the two of these. And we're going to look mostly at the Idiot's Guide. The thing created for somebody like me, the Idiot's Guide PowerPoint presentation. So they start off by saying that Q1 revenues were actually better than expected. Sounds great, doesn't it? Yeah. We actually did 1.8 billion, said Activision Blizzard, and we predicted 1.7 billion. So we actually did much better than we thought we would. Now, this is all very funny, because this is their own guidance. This is their own predictions. And companies lowball their predictions. You never, as a company, say, hey, what do we think we're going to do? I reckon we're going to do 1.9 billion. All right, let's say that. No! What do you think we're going to do? 1.9 billion. Okay, we'll go with 1.7, 1.75. Okay. Yeah, we think we're going to do 1.75 billion. You lowball. Because if you meet your expectations, hey, we did better than expected. We hit expectations. And if it's under, then you're covering your own ass. And if it's better, then you look like an absolute hero. So it's a no-lose situation, whichever way. So let's just jump back to this one, shall we, and see what you did in 2018. Oh, you did nearly 2 billion this time in 2018. So it's down significantly from last year. Oh, well, let's move on. I know this is a very basic way of putting it, but, you know, if you're going to give bullshit speak, then, you know, I'm going to give sarcastic answers to it all. And let's look at the 4 key areas, because this is the great buzzword phrases that they use. Major content releases. We are focused on delivering a strong cadence of major content releases where we meet the growing demand of the industry's gaming communities and release high-quality content more frequently. Rough translations, we ain't got anything. We got nothing right now. We got nothing. That's legitimately what it does translate to. We've got nothing right now. Remember, just right now, for this very moment in time, there is no major announcements at all. We know there's 2 mobile games coming, Diablo Immortal and Call of Duty Mobile. But in terms of PC releases, nothing has been announced. And even when a PC release, let's just say at BlizzCon, they announced Diablo 4, they announced World of Warcraft 2. Of course, never going to happen. But if, let's say, they did that, then you're still going to go through more development phases, potentially 1 or 2 years. Then you got to go through alpha. Then you got to go through beta. So they could be as much as 2-3 years away. They could be 18 months away. So all in all, that really says we ain't got anything. We ain't got anything to show you right now. We've got nothing to show you right now. Live operations. We continue to grow our live operations capabilities to deliver great content, services, features, and events that continuously engage our communities and drive in-game revenues. This is actually quite interesting. Why? Because MAUs are down, and we're going to go into this. Then they're significantly down, and MAU stands for monthly active user. And on top of that, revenues are not where they want them to be. I'm not saying that they're bad, because they're doing well. Obviously, you don't bring in 1.8 billion if stuff is bad. But we know for a fact that Overwatch ain't bringing in the revenue that they want it to. We know for a fact that Hearthstone isn't bringing in the revenue that we want to. I think Hearthstone's revenue is down like 50%. Not sure on the percentages of Overwatch, so I'm not going to make anything up. But Hearthstone's, yeah, that's down like 50%. On what it has been doing. So they are not managing to get people to engage in the in-game revenues for there. World of Warcraft seems to be holding ish. But yeah, so that's quite interesting because they're not there where they want to be with the MAUs, and they're not increasing their in-game revenues. Franchise expansion onto mobile. Oh, here we go. This is Bobby's wet dream. We are building on our existing mobile leadership as we extend our acclaimed console and PC franchises to the largest and fastest growing gaming platform. Now, that is true. The mobile gaming platform is the fastest growing out there, and it's one that does bring in the most revenue. Unfortunately, that is just a fact, people. And this is saying we're going to bring all our franchises to mobile. That is what it's saying. All our franchises are going to mobile. So you're going to have, well, probably not Heroes of the Storm, actually. You're going to have StarCraft, which is probably going to be a Command & Conquer Rivals microtransaction shitfest. You're going to have Overwatch. You're going to have, I mean, Hearthstone's already there. You're going to have your Diablo Immortals on the way. You're going to have the World of Warcraft Pokemon Go, Pet Battle Go game that they're working on, and, you know, potentially more. Everything's going to go on there. Everything's going to go on there. And of course, we know that Call of Duty Mobile is in development as well. New engagement models. We are expanding the reach, engagement, and monetization of our franchises as we build on early success in esports, in-game advertising, and consumer initiatives. Interesting, this one. I don't know massive amounts, but I do know that when they have some sort of tournaments ongoing with the esport crew, it does get engagement on Twitch. It does. If there's, you know, the battle for mythic, you know, for mythic first kills, bosses, whatever, it drives up viewership. Mythic Dungeon Invitational drives up viewership. Arena PvP drives up viewership. Here, Overwatch League drives up viewership. But I tell you what, you take Method out of streaming World of Warcraft, and it becomes just any other game out there. Method are really propping that up, especially considering Asmongold is doing it much more infrequently with WoW, and he's branched into doing other stuff as well. So WoW isn't a constant with him anymore, so they can't brag about how wonderful the engagement is with World of Warcraft, because, sorry, Asmongold's got other things he's doing. And you've still got your stalwarts, your Towlies and stuff who have been there for a long time, and now they'll be carry on going. But there's only a handful of those people, and if you took Method out, then WoW would just really sink into the crowd. And when Overwatch stops doing a tournament, when Hearthstone stops doing a tournament, they do drop down significantly. And because, as we've already discussed, we know that Overwatch and Hearthstone are not performing in terms of finances, how they want them to perform. It's an interesting way that they phrased it there. So let's get on to this aspect. This is the one that I really want to kind of go into a wee bit. This is the MAUs, the monthly active users. Now, Activision has got 41 million and Blizzard has got 32 million. Now, that seems all well and good. But you look at Activision. Activision has got, what? 2 games. It's got Call of Duty and Sekiro. Now, Sekiro sold 2 million copies in 10 days, which was excellent. It's a very good game. So that's going to drive up the MAU simply because of that. And also, of course, it did get a good showing on Twitch. And then Call of Duty have done some tweaking to the game in terms of the Blackout mode, the Battle Royale mode, and that's got better engagement than World War II, much better engagement than their previous one, which was the World War II. So that's why the MAUs are up, or not up, but the MAUs are doing okay with just 2 games. Blizzard, which have got 6 major franchises, or 6 world-class franchises, as I like to say. Heroes of the Storm, which they killed. StarCraft, which they do nothing with. Diablo, which they're doing nothing with, apart from making mobile games. World of Warcraft, which has got all kinds of problems. Overwatch, which is there or thereabouts. Hearthstone, which is, kind of having a few issues themselves. They're saying that there's this new PvP mode is slightly doing stuff, but not majorly. But what's interesting is this is down. This is down from 35 million the previous quarter. And if you think the Battle for Azeroth has not been out for a year yet. It's not even been out for a year. And so to have such a big drop-off in that game that we know of is colossal. But 3 million people have stopped playing Blizzard games in Q1 of this year. And you just think how many of those would be Heroes of the Storm players? Not that many, I'd imagine. StarCraft players? Not that many, I'd imagine. Because I'm looking at, their player bases, and they're not huge. Diablo, again, probably not that many. So I think it would be mostly featured around Overwatch, Hearthstone, and the World of Warcraft. And I would say, significantly, probably the World of Warcraft and Overwatch. And, well, there again, to be honest with you, maybe could chuck in a Hearthstone. But let's just, for argument's sake, this is not how it would be. But if you took 1 million off each, holy cow, take 1 million subscribers off the World of Warcraft. After we ran the figures, the chances are the game's only got around about 2.5 million users when we ran them there. They'd be down to 1.5 million players. So this is significant. It's approximately, I think, 8.5%. And so you can say, well, that's not that much. Let's say my YouTube channel has 100,000 subscribers. And over the course of 3 months, it went from 100,000 to 91.5k. People would be screaming in the comment section, your channel's dying, your channel's dying, your channel's dying. Well, guess what? 8.5%. 3 million people are no longer doing that. Waffling on for long enough, so let's wrap this up, yeah. How have the shareholders viewed this? This is the important thing, because there's a lot of the finances which, I'd be quite happy to admit I don't really understand at the end of the day. It's interesting to have a look at the stats, have a look at the engagement and stuff like that. But how have the shareholders reacted to this? The money people, the people who are in the know, the people who are more savvy when it comes to stuff like this. Stock's down over 5% since the announcement. And this is since the announcement. As soon as the quarterly report came out, it literally went from a green, which was an up day, straight down into a red in after hours trading, and then is trading currently constantly in the red today, down 5%. And you notice that this has barely changed since BlizzCon. It's barely changed. And I think all in all, it's like 40-something% off its high from last year. So, all the people that were sacked, all that kind of stuff, share price has barely shifted. Barely shifted. It's pretty sad stuff. So, yeah, they tried to phrase it in a very touchy-feely way, but ultimately, not a lot going on. Not a lot going on, and they're losing people. And I think this is the 4th or 5th quarter on the bounce where MAUs continue to fall. They're not getting new people, they're losing people. And and right now, revenues aren't doing too great. You know, they're there or thereabouts. But Q2 is going to be really interesting because what's happening this quarter? April, May, June. We've already had April. Nothing's gone on. We're just started into May. Nothing's going to happen. June. Even, for argument's sake, if they manage to squeeze out 8.2 towards the end of June, and I think they'll keep it for the release of Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers, I honestly don't see 8.2 doing too much in terms of engagement. I really don't. I think it'll bring a very small proportion of people back in for a small period of time. I don't think it's going to be a big peak whatsoever. So the Q2 report could be really interesting in terms of MAU, in terms of monthly active users, and also revenue, because where's the money coming from when nothing's happening? So there we go. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch live streaming links. They're in the description box down below, and I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.